All right, guys, Sanch here. Welcome back to the Bodybuilding News Network, specifically another episode of Bodybuilding Today. What we're going to be talking about today is the 212 fellas for the Portugal Pro. So we're going to go through the 212 lineup for the 2021 Portugal Pro happening in 2 days. So let's go ahead and get right into the first competitor, Steve Benthin. Now, you should remember Steve Benthin from last year. He competed at the British Grand Prix, was the most recent show. He also did that Europa Pro, or the Pro Spain. So remember him doing those shows. He placed third at the British Grand Prix. Looking at some of the shots from the Europa Pro, which was about a month before the British Grand Prix in 2020. So the physique was very, very similar. But he has a very good physique. The midsection, like most of the competitors on this list, is very controlled. Even when we talked about the open class, they had very controlled midsections, which sometimes is a luxury in modern day bodybuilding. But Steve Benthin is doing an absolutely fantastic job of keeping that midsection tight and controlled. His triceps and his chest look very full. His hamstrings are present. It is a good shot for him. Hopefully we can see a little bit better conditioning from the back, whereas when we're looking at these front shots, it really is very impressive. It's a beautiful physique. He might lose some points when he turns around. When you look at the glutes, when you look at the lats and the majority of his back, it does look like it's a little bit watery, or at least more watery than the front. But to be fair, his hamstrings do look fantastic. So good to see him in this lineup. Definitely expect him in that first call out. And by looking at his most recent posts on Instagram, at Steve_Benthin_, his physique looks like it is on point to definitely not disappoint the fans of bodybuilding. His physique looks very good. He has a lot of fullness coming into this show. So as he starts prepping and as he's really fine-tuning that machine, it'll be interesting to see how much of this size is maintained and how much of the conditioning can be brought to the forefront. Next on the list, no stranger to this channel, I am a huge fan of watching his progress from 2020 to 2021. Coelho? I always mess it up, but the chosen one in the 212, a beautiful physique, really put on a lot of size in this offseason. So I'm very, very interested to see how his physique shows up on stage in 2021. If you remember from 2020, he competed in Brazil at that Arnold Brazil, or the Arnold South America, I think is what they call it. The 2020 Arnold South America, just to be safe. But he definitely came in shape. He looked fantastic. But when you start looking at the other competitors, he did get a little outsized, no disrespect. He did respectfully place 9th at his last show. So we're definitely looking for a shock factor from Lucas here. I expect him to be in that first call out, but it's really going to come down to time telling us how his prep has gone this year and how much size he's truly been able to put on. I think, and from looking at the footage even right now, he looks like he's absolutely ready to make some statements, as he's already saying road to the Olympia. So definitely expect Lucas Coelho. Definitely expect Lucas to place well at the Portugal Pro. Next up is Pasquale D-angelo. We did talk about him last year during the news coverage. It is nice to see him showing back up here for another episode of Bodybuilding Today. The last time we actually saw him was at the 2021 Puerto Rico Pro. So very recent showing from him. And respectfully, he did place 12th. I might have said... I might have thought for him to place a little higher, but nevertheless, I think that he did do very well at that Portugal Pro. He is, from what I'm understanding, he is coming from open down to the 212, as he did place, if you remember, at the Portugal Pro, they did not have 12 competitors. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how he's able to maintain the size that you can see here from just a few months ago, or last month really, coming all the way down to the 212. It'll be interesting interesting to see how much of the size he can maintain. So very interested to see what's coming out of the Pasquale camp. Physique-wise, he is not really hiding anything. He's showing exactly what's going on in his camp, getting ready for the show, not being shy of the camera, which is something for the bodybuilding journalists online like myself. We really appreciate things like this. This isn't the magazine era. We need to actually be able to see these physiques so that we can give you an honest coverage of how the physiques and how these athletes are preparing for the shows. And just from seeing this, I feel comfortable in saying that he's going to do well at this show. Coming from open to 212, there's going to be some challenges, but I think that him and his team have put together enough preparation for his splash into the 212 to be successful. Next up, we have Ahmed Fawzi, 212 Pro. The last time we saw him was at the 2019 Romania Pro. So another Romania Pro competitor. He placed 11th respectfully, and looking at how he looked last year, or actually almost 3 years ago, respectfully, almost 3 years ago at this point, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what he can bring to the stage here at the 2021 Portugal Pro. And looking at his Instagram, the most recent post, which is actually a 1.5-minute physique update, he looks pretty hard. Midsection looks very controlled, tight, very thick abdominal muscles, which is nice to see. Just a very impressive looking physique. Now this is 3 days ago, so this is going to be in his final week of prep for the 212 Portugal Pro here. I definitely expect him to do well at this show. It looks like his coach, George Farah, has also been preparing him, which is very exciting. One of the modern legends of bodybuilding gurus. So best of luck to Ahmed Fawzi at the Portugal Pro. Yes, this one was a tricky one. Felipe Fierro Lobos. Kind of tricky to find his account, but here it is on his Instagram. Here's his tag. The last time we saw him was at the 2019 IFBB Pro League Sports Festival, where he placed 3rd. So a very good placing from this competitor. Definitely one of my interesting picks coming into this show. Looked really good. The legs look very striated. The conditioning was there. A very young competitor. So I'm thinking, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but when we start looking at the content he's putting on his Instagram, it really does spell potentially a very successful season for him as we transition over to his Instagram. We can see that he does look really good. It looks very, very full, very wide. The legs have improved considerably. Another fantastic 212 bodybuilder. Definitely looks like he's been overlooked, or at least underlooked in our community. 800 likes. Looks like Daniel here has seen him, but we got to support our own people. So if you can head over to his Instagram, if you love bodybuilding, this is in essence what bodybuilding is all about. Shorter guy, great frame, wide clavicles, and just a huge shield for this lat spread. He really uses his short stature to the best of his ability and really building on those limbs, really maximizing and maxing out those muscle, all the different types of muscle he's got going on here. The quads, I can't get over. This is like a little Rami. This is literally the 212 of Rami. So very excited to see how he does here at the Portugal Pro. Next on the list is Andrey Melnikov. So they kind of have a mixed match, or maybe the NPC News is the scorecard. Okay, hear me out. The scorecard has Andrey with a Y and then Melnikov, and his Instagram is backwards. So it's kind of fun finding you guys the content here for these athletes. And based off a conversation I actually just got done talking with this guy, with Andrey, is he actually, the last show he did was recently, I think it was April. He won his pro card at this Russia championship show. So these were elite pro shows, and this one is where he's actually making his pro debut in the IFBB here at the Portugal Pro. Again, a very impressive physique, looks absolutely fantastic. Just something I feel a lot of people overlook is the 212. I feel like there's just not a lot of respect there for these competitors. They have so much muscle packed onto their usually smaller frames. Just a lot of people just overlook them because, I don't know. I'd love to hear in the comment sections below what you guys think about the 212. I feel like it doesn't get as much respect and recognition as the open class. I'd love to know why, so let me know in the comment sections below. And next on the list is Naser Mohamed. Another interesting one, trying to hunt this guy down. But the last time we saw him was at the 2020 Romania Pro in the 212. He placed third, so again, one of those first round call out guys. Expect to see him in this first call out, as he is one of the more seasoned competitors of placing well. Looking through his shots at the Romania Pro here, where he placed third, a great physique, great insertions, full midsection, tight, controlled. Seems like it's something very common in the 212, but don't take it for granted at all. Beautiful physique. As we look at his Instagram and his most recent physique updates, expect to see that same level of full muscle bellies along with the conditioning. Beautiful lines and structure, crazy wide back lat spreads. Another very impressive physique. So honestly, it's going to be a pretty great show. The lineup is going to be heavy for the most part, right? We might not have the Guy Cisterninos or the big names, but these competitors are seasoned, they're pros, they've placed very highly in shows, so expect it to be a competitive lineup here at the Portugal 212. Next on the list is Diogo Nunes. The last time we saw him was at the 2020 IFBB Pro Romania Pro Muscle Festival. So again, quite a few of these 2019, 2020 Romania Pro guys. Diogo, he placed fifth at that show, respectfully. Another great physique, great striations in the legs. Very solid shots, great side chest. The vascularity, that's crazy. Definitely look forward to seeing what he can bring. Going over to his Instagram, we can look at what he's been posting recently for some physique shots. These are technically 5 days out. We'll see. Definitely has some good lighting going on here, but definitely that same crazy vascularity in that chest that we just saw from 2020 at the Romania Pro. Again, another great physique. Definitely look to see him potentially in that first call out. And the last athlete on the list, as of today, right, 2 days out from the show, the scorecard's probably not going to change. So the last competitor that we have for the 212 is Sticco. The last time we saw Daniel compete was at the 2019 NPC Worldwide Yamamoto Pro qualifier. This is where he won his pro card. So, unless something has changed and I didn't see a show, this is going to be his pro debut in the IFBB Pro, specifically the 212. He does do a lot of coaching here, so he has a lot of his competitors, of his athletes posting on his Instagram, but he's definitely showing what he has going on in this shot as he's getting ready for this show. Looking at his last stage shots when he won his pro card, he's got those Nick Walker abs, great sweep and separation in the quads going all the way up into his posing trunks. And that's something that we've been missing a lot, especially in the open classes, having this level of definition and separation, conditioning in the upper quad. It seems like when you look at someone like Big Ramy, it's just all washed out right in here. So it's nice to see that these new up-and-coming pros in the 212, respectfully, are having the types of physiques that I like to see. I like to see these crazy separations and these crazy lines. And that will do it for another episode on the Bodybuilding News Network, specifically Bodybuilding Today. I hope you enjoyed the preview of the Portugal Pros 212 lineup as of today, 2 days out from the show, quite late in the evening, to be honest. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name's Sanj. If you want to see another video like this, maybe the lineup for the Classic Physique, for the Portugal Pro, the Chicago Pro, the Tampa Pro, all these big shows coming up, comment below. Let me know with a like, a comment, and a subscribe. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name's Sanj, and I'll see you in the next one.